We're talking about street races this morning because they can be very dangerous, and of course they're illegal. Just recently one happened and the gas lamp ended with one of the cars T-boning another car not involved in the race.
Yeah, one of the drivers was arrested, the other was arrested a little bit later. But this morning, Brad Perry is joining us this morning to talk about a safe way to racing, because let's face it, Brad, some people have this need for speed.
Yeah, and at Qualcomm it's all legal. Brad?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and one reason we're talking about it, as you know, Fast and the Furious 6 came out this past weekend. It was one of the top movies at the box office. And a lot of people think because they see that movie, they think they can get on a regular street and do it, but not knowing those are under controlled circumstances. Those are stunt guys driving, and they know what they're doing, to the point where people are playing on Xbox and things. I'm so good on Xbox I can take to the street. But of course, with me is attorney Ross Jurewitz, and we're talking, of course, where that's not true. You are not a stuntman. You're not out there. And of course, as you're an attorney, you know firsthand how dangerous it can be, and of course the ramifications of street racing.
Oh, absolutely. These drivers in the movies are doing it in controlled circumstances. Unfortunately, the people who take their lives and other lives in their own hands are doing it on uncontrolled circumstances. And the ramifications, both civilly and criminally, are very, very severe.
Yeah, and as we are going to look at tape right now, this is from May 17th accident where, of course, your client was injured in this and actually could have been killed.
Absolutely. He was T-boned going through an intersection at 16th and G by two cars racing, one driven by a drunk driver. The driver of the other car fled the scene, and hopefully he has some video about that as well, too. But my client's vehicle was pushed into a light pole. It was crushed right behind his head. He could have been killed, brain dead.
Yeah, and the reason why we're talking about this is because we're seeing the kids getting out of school, having more time in their hands, and people think, okay, I'm going to be okay. Maybe I'll get a speeding ticket. I'll get something like this. But as we're seeing right now, you're having a guy who fled the scene. You're having a guy who has a DUI and pretty much criminal, ramifications here.
Well, right. I mean, even just racing, there's a California Vehicle Code section called Speed Contest. Just by racing, even if nobody gets injured, you're talking about jail time, fines, losing your license. If you get convicted twice, you lose your car.
Yeah, and it's not the smartest thing to do. And of course, your client is, and that's one of the two guys that are involved with this, have legal bills, have, of course, hospital bills that are paying all this, right?
Well, right. Both the racers involved in my client's accident are going to be responsible for all my client's damages, including their medical bills, which are going to be probably a couple $100,000. And they're going to have to live with that the rest of their lives. There's no way they're going to be able to get out of it.
Yeah, and of course we are talking street racing, and Lydia here from racelegal.com is letting us know, as I see the cars behind us, Lydia, as we bring you over here, it's safer to be on these streets right here at Qualcomm than it is to be on the real streets.
This is exactly where you want to be. This is exactly where you can get a feel for what cause and effect your car and how well you can control it and what your skill level really is.
Yeah, and we come back, we'll talk more about that, because actually they have a race coming up on this Friday for you to be able to come down. We'll talk about what the clarifications and your requirements are for that. And of course, we'll talk more with the attorney here about the different legal stuff, and especially, again, how dangerous it can be out there, Dave and Alexis. With, of course, people street racing. Again, it's a movie. It's a video game. You are not trained to do that. And even if you are, you're not doing it out on public streets, because, again, look, someone's hurt and someone could have been killed.
You know, I have a feeling most people who do that, the street racing, they're not thinking about all the other people. They're just thinking about themselves. It's a kind of a selfish thing. So I think this is a great idea, because some people are going to do it anyway.
Yeah, definitely out here. It's very safe.
Okay, Brad, thanks so much for that. We'll see you back there in a bit.